we're back to work on that pelvic strength, so we don't have to worry about peeing our pants in the rebounder after having babies. So we're getting right into it. We're gonna take that ball, we're starting with it today, and we're gonna take it between the inner thighs. We're gonna start that health bounce on that rebound, just above those knees, feet hips distance, or maybe a little narrower, depending on how inflated that ball is. So again, on that first class, we did a lot of breathing, just standing, a lot of breathing on the floor with those abdominal exercises. We're gonna use the rebounder for the full class today. But again, anytime, you can always come off that rebounder if you find more control, more stability on the floor without using the unstable surface of the rebounder. We're gonna start that health bounce. For the health bounce, stop in the knees, shoulders over those hips, over those heels. Weight is in the heels and the ball of the foot, kind of 2-point contacts on the edge of the ball of the foot and the heel. As we're finding this little health bounce, we're not leaving the mat, the feet aren't leaving the mat. We're gonna find that pelvic floor connection and that diaphragmatic breath, as well as that transverse abdominal engagement. So we're gonna inhale, ribcage expands. Inhale, kind of release the pelvic floor. Exhale, ribcage closes, pelvic floor lifts like that sling, that hammock is lifting. Those hip bones are drawing together. We're finding that transverse connection, wrapping that core. Inhale, let go. Exhale, pelvic floor is lifting like the elevator is coming up to level 2, level 3. Inhale, let go. Another analogy is exhaling. You're sucking up a smoothie or a milkshake, really thick substance through a straw through your vagina. You're lifting it up, trying to suck it up on the exhale. Inhale, let that tension go, let that straw go. Exhale, think of sucking up that smoothie through your vagina and through your bum. Inhale, let go. Or again, that elevator. Exhale, lifting the elevator. So exhale, lift the elevator, inhale, let the elevator go. Another analogy you can use if you imagine like a little grape on the floor in the front and like maybe, or a raisin in the front, grape in the back. Doesn't matter. One's dried, one's pruned, one's fresh. You have 2 little pieces of fruit or marbles on the ground. Again, as you inhale, you're letting the marbles go. As you exhale, you're trying to draw those marbles or pieces of fruit up into your vagina and up into your bum, into your anus. Inhale, letting them go. Let that relax on the floor. Exhale, lift them. Lots of different ways to try to connect mentally through weird analogies to the pelvic floor. One may be like, that one works for me. The other one's may be like, that's weird. That's okay. Inhale, ribcage expands. Exhale, cores wrap, triangles draw together and lift. Elevator lifts, smoothie lifts, lifting your raisin or your marble. Inhale, let go. The more we can consciously find that connection with our breath, the better chance we're gonna have to strengthen it kind of on the rebounder as we're consciously working, and then the unconscious, because that pelvic floor is gonna engage like this every single bounce. We also wanna keep that connection working through that breath and that connection as we find other exercises as well, to strengthen it even better. Good, we're gonna take that ball out. We're gonna keep that little bounce going though. Back to the pelvic floor. Connection, but now without that ball. So that ball adds some really great feedback with the inner thighs to help lift and connect the pelvic floor. Now we just have to use that breath and that pelvic floor and those abdominals all on our own. You can keep that ball there if that helps you really connect better. Just stay there. So again, think of inhale, let go. Exhale, connect. And then as you do a couple bounces, staying here, exhale, keeping that connection, keeping that lift of the pelvic floor, keeping that transverse connection, and holding it here as we bounce. Still breathing, don't ever hold the breath. But now we're kind of working on that little bit muscular endurance of being able to hold that transverse connection, hold that pelvic floor lift. When you start to feel like you're not gauging properly, or it's kind of gonna start to quiver, just inhale, let it go. Take a couple breaths. Exhale, find that reconnection, find that pelvic floor lift, find those hip bones drawing together, that transverse connection. So again, those transverse, your deeper layer in your abdominals, we're drawing them kind of in and up. We're not bracing, we're not bearing down, we're not like, oh, we're not sucking in. You just want to find that deeper core connection. So again, you're kind of wrapping your core, take your fingers, think of knitting those abdominals together, hip bones and rib cage stays connected. We're not letting that chest sprawl open, or again, we're not rounding forward to connect. Standing nice and tall, you can take your hands to your rib and your hips. Exhale, think of drawing them together without rounding forwards. Good. Find that breath here. Just a little bit of movement here. A couple seconds without that ball, but we are going to bring that ball back in. So get up, bounce. Grab that ball. We're going to take it right back between those knees. And we're just gonna find some squats here. So again, hip distance wide, weight's gonna come back from the heels. We're gonna inhale, sit the hips back. We inhale, sit back. Exhale, stand up. We inhale, sit, exhale, wrap that core, lift the pelvic floor. Using that ball for feedback. So squeeze the inner thighs to help us lift and connect that pelvic floor better. Exhale, lift. We inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Using that ball, lift and think about that pelvic floor working consciously here. Inhale, let go. Exhale, lift. The more we kind of consciously find that connection here, the better control we're gonna have. We're gonna really start to bounce later. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. So again, I did pelvic physio after both my babies. I was so weak in my pelvic floor. I was so surprised because I did pelvic floor exercises. I saw pelvic floor physio, especially my second pregnancy, during pregnancy, so I could work my pelvic floor strength, and it was still weak after. So everyone is very unique. Everyone is very different. Everyone has different levels of pelvic floor dysfunction after pregnancy or just throughout their life. It takes time. Be patient with yourself. It's not gonna change overnight. We inhale, exhale, you got it. Two more. We inhale, exhale. This time, hold that squat down, hold it here. We're just gonna squeeze and release the ball. Little squeeze, little release, so exhale. Squeeze the ball, wrap the core, inner thighs, pelvic floor lifts, transverse connection connects. You're wrapping the core, you're knitting those abdominals together, but spine staying long. Exhale, exhale, inhale, yes. Always option to move slower. 4 more, give me 4. 3, we're gonna hold that connection to that pelvic floor, hold the connection to the abdominals. Now let's pulse that ball, we pulse, we're still breathing. But we're holding that connection to that transverse, feel working, and we're keeping that pelvic floor lift. Give me 8, working on a little bit of endurance here. Inner thighs as well. For 4, 3, 2, really stand up. We're gonna take the ball out. Got a little balance work here, so you need your handle or your wall or nothing. You're gonna take that ball into your hands. We're gonna exhale, lift that right knee, 2 counts. We're gonna press that ball into it. Inhale, let go, left leg. Exhale, woo. A little even slower than that. Let's try that balance again. We exhale, inhale, other leg. Exhale, press that leg into that ball. So we're using that ball to again make it a little more challenging. Exhale, exhale, lift, using that core. Now we're not in this position today. We're not rounding and pressing into the ball. We're standing tall. So we're just pressing, using standing core work here. Exhale, press. Hands into that thigh, or hands into that ball, which presses into that thigh. Few more. However hard you want to press, you're going to feel that entire abdominal chain. Have to stabilize and work a little harder as you add pressure into that thigh with that ball. Exhale, press. Yes. Exhale, press. So getting a lot of functional core work before you do a lot of bouncing. Really important. A few more. Exhale, press. Inhale, release. Exhale. I think it was months after I was doing exercises on the floor. Before I felt even comfortable getting back on the rebounder. I think around maybe 8-10 weeks, I was back on the rebounder, not for myself, but I found my baby, really enjoyed the health bounce. I was kind of holding him and really settle him and put him to sleep right away. So there's no conscious effort from me working my pelvic floor, strengthening it. It was all for him. Until I kind of got back to work. Months, maybe your weeks, maybe your years. You're doing what's best for you. We inhale, exhale. 1 more on each leg. Last one. Good. We're gonna keep that ball. We're gonna bring ourselves down. A little more core work before we get back up and do some bouncing again. So we're gonna stay on the rebounder this time. We're gonna always come onto the floor. We don't need the rebounder. Just gonna increase the little bit of work your body has to do because it's an unstable surface. Your body has to stabilize more versus being on the floor. So we're gonna come into bridge. But depending if your rebounder is maybe a little smaller, might feel better to just come on the floor. So ball's gonna come between your inner thighs. We're gonna exhale, squeeze inner thighs, lift the hips. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. So kind of finding that glute bridge. Adding that, again, that feedback of that ball through the inner thighs, that pelvic floor. Exhale, lift, close rib cage, lift the pelvic floor, draw that transversal in, wrapping the core, knitting those abdominals together. If you heard the cue, maybe when you were pregnant and you had baby, and you had the baby belly, when it was exhale, hug the baby, and you're hugging that baby or drawing that baby into you, it's the same thing, but now you don't have baby there, so we call it wrap the core, or hug your core, draw those abdominals together. That's kind of the cue we use now. Exhale, inhale. Hold this last one up. Just squeeze, release the ball. Little exhale, little inhale. Again, using that breath today. The music is just kind of background. We'll use more music in our other classes. A little more emphasis on the music and the movement, but today, slow down, use that breath. You can always put on your own music as well. Exhale, hips are lifted, or hips can always come back down to the mat. Now hold that engagement, just pulse that ball, squeeze. So we're lifting the pelvic floor, we're holding that transverse engagement, but we're not holding your breath, we're still breathing. Eight more, give me 8, 6, for 4, 3, 2. Bring those hips back down. You're gonna take that ball out. We're gonna do a little bit of a version of dead bug. The ball is gonna come to that left thigh, arm and leg extend out for 2. We're gonna press ball into the thigh. Inhale, extend. Exhale, press. Inhale, again, using that ball to add that more challenge. If you don't have a ball, you can also just take your hand directly to the thigh. So you're taking that hand or that ball to add that pressure to that knee coming in, really making the abdominals work harder. So again, that low back is nice and neutral. We're not tucking through the pelvis here. We're not scooping out those hips, or stay nice and neutral. Exhale, press. Inhale, rib cage stays closed. As the arm comes overhead, we're not letting that rib cage pop and that low back lift. So we're not exaggerating the movement. Nice neutral spine. Close the rib cage. Exhale, press. Inhale. As much pressure as you want into that ball or to that thigh. Bring it in. Last one. Other leg right here. We start inhale, exhale. So we're taking the opposite arm to the opposite leg. Nice and neutral pelvis. Inhale, close the rib cage. Knit the rib cage and the hips together without crunching and bringing them in. We're not curling in on this one. Exhale, press. Inhale, release. Exhale, press. You got it. Inhale, exhale. And whether you're on the rebounder or the floor here, the rebounder is going to be more challenging. It wants to kind of have the back and the torso move around a bit more. You have to stabilize and work harder, so we're not moving. We're definitely not balancing in this position today. We'll keep it nice and still, nice and controlled. Inhale, exhale. Keep that rib cage closed, draw those abdominals, knit that core together, wrap the core on the exhale. Think of lifting the pelvic floor a little bit too. Inhale, exhale, press. Inhale, exhale. Last one. Good, we're gonna keep that ball in the hands. Bringing those feet together here. We're just gonna kind of take that ball to the chest. Elbows can kind of come out a little bit for a little challenge. We're gonna open the knees, and as we're gonna exhale, we're gonna bring the knees together. Seems simple, and we're also gonna squeeze the ball at the chest, same time like this. So we inhale 2, exhale 2, squeeze ball. We inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. So we're opening the legs to the side. You're like, this isn't doing anything. Inhale. Again, as you exhale, really wrap the core, lift the pelvic floor. So this one isn't necessarily a challenging movement with the legs. The connection comes from wrapping the core, knitting those abdominals together, bringing that triangle closer together as we lift. So again, it's just a way to add movement as we really focus on the breath is the work. Exhale, breathe. Inhale, release. Exhale, work. So as we're adding exhale, we're adding again. Imagine those legs are like leads. We're really resisting the lift. It's not meant to be easy. Those legs are super heavy. Using the breath work. Exhale, wrap the ribs. Wrap the core, connect the ribs. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, squeeze the ball. Inhale, just adding that little ball squeeze if you've got it, adding just a little bit of work through the upper body, making sure that chest doesn't pop open. Exhale, connect. Inhale, let go. Exhale. Inhale. Sound like a broken record. A lot of breath work. Last one. Squeeze. We're gonna bring ourselves up into a tabletop position. On to our hands and knees. Again, doing the same thing we did last class, but this time that bird dog on the rebounder. So what you can be from your wrist, hand, elbow, hand can be on the floor. Take that ball in the right hand, starting with that inhale out. Exhale, opposite arm, opposite leg press together. We inhale, exhale, press. Now as we're especially on the rebounder, making sure we're not really sinking through that low back. That low back is staying nice and strong, nice and long. We inhale, exhale. Inhale, reach. Exhale, adding that little bit of pressure with that hand into that ball, into that thigh, to deepen that core work. To make it a little harder to stabilize through the rest of the body, which deepens the core. Balance. Two more. Take it out, 2. Bring it in. Last one. Quick switch, other leg. Take it out. Exhale. Hand comes to the ball, comes to the thigh. Check that back, check that belly. Is that low back sagging? Is that low back arching? Or is it rounding? Taking that nice neutral spine. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, press. Inhale, lengthen. Great low back stability here. Adding that ball to that thigh as a leg and arm come under you. Great way to get that front side of the body to connect as well. Breathe. Last one. Good, press. One more exercise to focus on that core. And then we're gonna get some bounce in again. We're gonna take that ball between your inner thighs, just above those knees. So we're gonna stay kneeling on the rebounder. We're gonna face sideways. So you can see me. Again, floor, great exercise. We're gonna sit your hips back to your heels, 2 counts. We take it down 2, take it up. Now as we're coming up, we're not coming directly all the way back up. We're kind of keeping the upper body slightly lean back. So we're in a slight decline position from your knees. So we're kind of slightly like that as we come up. So hips come down like this. So the shoulders are kind of staying gently back the entire time. Take your hips down, take it up, exhale, lift. We inhale, exhale, wrap that core before we move. So as we're in that slight lean back position, this is a great way to check that core. This is a great physical way to see, because we're not straining on the neck in this position. We're wrapping that core. If we're not wrapping the core, if you have any of that abdominal separation, and you're not maintaining or controlling that pressure in your abdominals, this is where you're gonna get some abdominal coning or doming. So between your abdominals here, you can get a little bit of a bump work where we're not maintaining that pressure properly. So this is a great way visually to see this in this exercise, is if you're getting that doming. So it's that slight lean back. So think of wrapping that core forward move. So inhale before we lift, exhale, wrap the core, lift the pelvic floor, that little lean back. Yes. Let's see if I can visually do it. I'm still working my abdominals, so if I don't cone, if I can see it. Mine lift here a little bit. If I'm not maintaining connection, I have to take the ball out. My body naturally wants to connect. I have a hard time finding that doming. I still have it. But I find on the rebounder, my body has to stabilize so much more. I have a harder time trying to do it improperly than properly. We eventually want to get there. We inhale, exhale, wrap the core. Last one, stay kneeling. Lean back a little bit, 2 counts, small. Exhale, lean back. Inhale, lift. Exhale, wrap the core before we move. Inhale, lift, you got it. Exhale, really wrap. Again, I love this one because it's so visual. You can see those abdominals popping and coning. In this position, if we don't maintain that abdominal control, exhale, wrap that transverse, lift the pelvic floor, inhale, let go. Exhale, also, great thigh work. 2 more. Last one, hold that lean back, hold that connection, hold that breath. Don't hold the breath, hold the connection, but breathe. That's what I was getting at. For 4, 3, 2, release. Ooh. Okay. We're gonna put that ball away. We're gonna come back up. We're gonna find that health bounce. Okay. And that health bounce, shoulders over hips, soften the knees. Even here, think of exhaling, gently wrapping through that core, lifting to the pelvic floor, still flowing through that breath. Press into the heels, and the ball of the foot. We've done some core strengthening work on the rebounder. Now we're gonna add a little bit of bounce. Again, if you wanna keep your feet closer together, you might feel a little more stable on the pelvic floor. Breathing. We're gonna keep the toes connected. We're gonna lift the heels. Alternate, right, left, go right, left. So the toes are connected. We're not leaving the rebounder, not yet. Not for this class. We're keeping that closed chain, which means our feet are staying on the rebounder, not bouncing off, which you can always do for any time. But as we build that pelvic floor strength, the lower we stay, the more grounded we stay, the more control we have over it. But it's still involuntarily contracting, even with this little bitty bounce. Still working, still strengthening. Good. It's also great, nice kind of footwork. Add the arms overhead, 2 counts. We inhale, exhale. Breathing. So again, feet maybe hip distance, maybe wider if that's better for stability for you. And that feels okay on the pelvic floor. Let's march forward, back, right here. March it forward and back. Forward and back. So you're gonna swing the arms. So you're still adding a little pressure into your rebounder. If you want to just take it forward and back without any little baby bounce whatsoever, you can kind of keep that little up and down movement, which is going to be a little bit effective for that pelvic floor engagement, also that lymphatic flush. Forward and back. But still not leaving the rebounder, still not doing a big bounce. We never really do a big bounce, call it more of an active bounce. The movement is bigger by bringing the knees higher. The head never goes higher on the rebounder for the movements we do. Forward and back. Heels together. Again, right here, go right heel then left. So feet are just pressing down, a little press. Nice fat, flat foot press. And then those heels are pressing into that mat as they come forward as those toes lift. Press. There we go. Find those stepping jacks. Arms come out halfway. Right, left. This will be our half jacks. Feet maybe step wider, feet can stay narrower. Take it out a little in. Always making sure you empty your bladder. Go pee before you bounce. Press pause if you need. Hands come all the way overhead. Take it up, up. Still keeping connected. March it forward, back. Forward and back. So maybe it's a little hinge in the hips. Pump those arms. The more kind of body parts are moving, heart rate goes up a little higher. Body works a little bit more. Back those heels together. Go right together, left. Bring those toes towards the shin bone as those feet step together. Stepping jack, arms overhead. Take it right together, left. Little pressure down with those flat feet as those feet come back together. Still connecting to that rebounder. Take it out and in. Different movement. Hamstring curl, keep the leg a little narrow. Right heel kicks bump, take it right and left. So maybe hip distance. If the feet feel better, wider for more stability, you can, but maybe not on the pelvic floor. Arms can just kind of do a little reach, pull if they want to be bigger. We got it. We pull back with that heel. Both kind of side to side rock for stability. Heels together. Go heels together. Repeating it one more time. One new movement at the end. March it out, march it out. Little hinge in the hips, nice and long, through the spine. You got it, just a few more. Building up that little bit. Some choreography, so you can think about that pelvic floor, not the combos. Stepping jacks, take it right together, left. Some of our other classes have maybe a little bit more combos. A little bit more exercises thrown together. We're keeping it simple, so it's just a focus on pelvic floor. Hamstring curl. Take it right together, left. Arm just kind of reaching and pulling. You got it. Kick that heel to that butt. Kick. New movement. We're gonna do skiers. Feet connect and those heels twist. So those balls of the feet are staying down. Little hinge in the hips, and those heels are rotating sidewall to sidewall. So the side position looks like this. We're pressing side to side. But the toes aren't leaving. You're just kind of swish, 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 swishing those heels side to side. Those toes stay down. Getting a little bit of core work here. That little rotation. Soften the knees. Hinge in the hips, strong and long to the back. 8 more, we twist. Yes. For 4, 3. Find that health bounce again. Health bounce is kind of our let go bounce. We don't worry about that beat. Again, a little more conscious maybe of that pelvic floor lifting. Just transverse working, because now we're not focusing on the movement so much. We can focus on that core stability, that pelvic floor work. Relax the shoulders. Do the big inhales, exhales. That heart rate went up. Letting it settle back down. Option to continue to repeat this class again and again. So you feel better as we build a little more bouncing each time. See you next time.